Okay, we're back with Joyce Cusack, the at-large county councilwoman. Joyce, you were in a sort of a bitter primary with Northey and Barnaby, and Barnaby outraised both of you. I think he had like 50,000. Northey had a lot of insider contributions. I believe you had one contribution from the Speedway. But
she had contribution from the Speedway.
Oh, she had Speedway, Maury Husseini, Hyatt Brown, all the big power brokers. I know that you voted against Mr. Husseini's. Well, you voted that issue with
the Pioneer Trail.
Right, the guy from Destin, the developer.
And that was not for him. It was for the best thing that I thought was the best interest for the citizens that lived in that area, because they came here and they talked to us. I went out there. I saw no reason why we could not put a nice store in that area to serve people. And that was not, I'm not going to shop there, but I wanted to have it convenient for the citizens that live in that area to be able to shop.
Joyce, how embarrassed are you by what seems to be an enormous amount of insider campaign contributions in this election cycle, especially after all the fallout from Waverly and, all the, I guess a lot of people say there's a lot of hypocrisy there. I know you called it a witch hunt. That was your wording.
That's right. And I still say it was a witch hunt. But, you need to, there's a saying that you should clean around your own door before you start sweeping around my door.
Right.
And when you get major contributions from folks that we do business with on a daily basis and do a lot of business with, and you get contributions from them, that seems to be acceptable. But when you have the appearance of an in-kind contribution from someone, then you want to assassinate the character of the folk that received an in-kind contribution. Now, when you talk about folk who gave thousands and thousands of dollars in money, from different pots of money that they have access to, then you want to begin to think that's acceptable.
You're talking about the shell companies.
I'm talking about the shell companies that you
become
have.
A joke.
And then you can sit and make decisions based on those things that you think are not necessary or above board.
Well, let me ask you this, Joyce. Headline Surfer, as the publisher, I did a co-endorsement for the primary. I typically pick 2 out of 3. And then for the general election, I'll go with 1 if I feel that person's the strongest.
Right.
I chose you and Webster Barnaby, and I left Miss Northey out. I just felt with all the stuff that's been going on the last 2 years, I know people have called her and Denny's and Patterson and Daniels the Fab Four. We've called them the Gang of Four. You were kind of like, it was always like a 4-3 kind of split with you and County Chair Jason Davis and Josh Wagner from Daytona, sort of on the losing end of a lot of these votes. That kind of rubbed people the wrong way, too.
Well, I don't mind being on the losing end of a vote.
If it's transparent.
If it's transparent, I mean, it's what I think is in the best interest of the people that I represent. I don't care if I stand alone. If I stand alone, I stand alone.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is a tough question to ask you, considering the news that's developing, but any council member on this dais that took bus bench advertising, no matter who it's with, should they have revealed that?
Yes.
Especially when they're making statements about their opponents, the challenges as an incumbent.
Well, I think that you should have been able to speak up and openly in any in-kind contributions that you have received. And I can only speak for Joyce Cusack.
Right.
I think that I would never hide behind something that I have done, if it's an omission or commission. I'm going to do what's right. I work too hard. My integrity is intact. I came into this process with great integrity, and I plan to leave it in that same manner.
With what's happened in the last 2 years especially,
hasn't been pretty.
It's corruption. I mean, I don't know how else you can describe it. Whether it borders on criminal is yet to be displayed, but how embarrassed are you on a personal level to be up here and know that people are saying, my God, they did this, they did that?
Well, I know that we're not an island, all of us.
And you're
We must-
accused of impropriety.
I'm accused of improprieties, and I don't like that.
But people are getting their pockets lined by
Yeah.
some of the most powerful insiders in the county.
That's right. But I just go on and do what I am asked to do by the people that I represent, and I will continue to do that, and I'll let them make that decision as to who they want to represent.
Well, let me ask you this. For example, Webster Barnaby's no longer in the race. He finished third in a recount.
Right.
And he's out of it. And I consider him to be a very honorable, distinguished person, or I wouldn't have co-endorsed him with you,
Right.
and a decent man. He took out 2020 media advertising. He says at the time that he took it out, he wasn't aware of the intensity of or the significance of the improprieties of 2020 media, but a lot of people don't agree with that. Deltona hadn't been paid since like 2011, 2010. Daytona Beach cut off their contract with 2020 media. Why was 2020 media not included in looking at all of this? You had Denny's herself. I mean, I questioned her in public participation. I made a point in public participation that she told Caney in deposition, no, I never took out bus bench ads. And then I showed that she had, in fact, took out two $500 contributions for $1,000. Where do you draw the line in terms of Waverly versus 2020 media or advertising in general?
But I don't think there's a line to be drawn. I think that all things should be on the table.
Should everybody have been honest about what their stake was? And
Well, I can not only speak for Joyce.
Right.
Cusack. I will be honorable and honest in any of my dealings. I cannot speak for the other 6 members of this council, and I'm not in the position to do that because I wouldn't want them to speak for me.
now you have never lost a race.
I've never lost a race.
6 races.
6 races.
Some people think you're,
5 races.
5 races.
Not
This would be a 6. Some people think you're arrogant. Other people think you're a
really?
hero. Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't take a
Okay.
rocket scientist to figure out who they are. And other people think that you're a heroine.
Yeah.
You know, a superhero kind of.
See, those folk that think I'm arrogant, they don't know me.
Right.
And it's always lack of knowledge that makes us sometimes ignorant. The people perish for lack of knowledge. And if you don't know me, you cannot say that I'm arrogant because you don't know me.
Well,
And so I take issue with folk who want to categorize folk.
one of the
Why am I
reasons
arrogant?
one of the reasons why we decided to do, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but one of the reasons why we decided to have you as the guest for our Sunday conversation this Sunday is we are going to be doing a write-up on Sunday that we are formally endorsing you as the at-large person that people should vote for in November.
That's great to hear.
If Ms. Northey has shown no willingness to open up with us, she blew off the debate, the public candidate debate, no kill. She showed no interest in doing another one in New Smyrna Beach, so that's why we didn't bother having an at-large one. You know, we had the one in Oak Hill, and you saw there were 85 people there, jammed the place, and some people were unhappy. Where was she? With all the stuff with Waverly now, I just think, why wait? You know, so we're going to go ahead and announce our
that's
endorsement
great.
on Sunday. So how do you feel about that?
I think that's great. I think that's great because I want to be a partner with the citizens of this county. I want to be the neighbor that we have coffee and we sit down and talk about issues that impact all of our lives. I just want to try do what's good for the citizens of Volusia County.
Now,
I'm in a good place.
you are.
myself. I
Now,
don't have-
you're in retirement age. You didn't even
I'm
have to do this.
retirement age,
You're what,
and I
71,
have-
72 now?
And that's the latest privilege to keep that, but you're in the ballpark.
Right.
You're right there. So I really don't have to do this, but I want to be of service. I feel good. I look good. I enjoy talking to people. So I just want to serve.
Now, you grew up in segregation. You're an African American. There's no
That's right.
There's no doubt
There's
about
no
that.
doubt
I mean,
about
it's
that.
the skin color is
That's right.
it's the skin
and
color.
I think there will be people that will vote against me and may say I'm arrogant because I'm Afro.
Or people say that, you know, you think that this is the
I'm-
quota seat or the African American seat. You don't buy that. I mean, you want to have inclusion, right?
I'm going to. If I'm going to be a part of it, I'm going to have inclusion. That's why I went to the legislature. That's why I sat at the lunchroom counters in DeLand, Florida, to make known the injustices that were being prevailed against folk of color at that time.
And-
I have no hidden agenda, and I will always speak my mind, but I will always be honest and will listen to others.
And it should be noted that last year when the KKK dropped the recruitment flyers in the West Side, the African-American community that you were born in,
That's right.
and raised as a small child before moving to DeLand, there were 3 elected officials in Volusia County that spoke with Headline Surfer about it. Webster Barnaby, Jason Davis, and Joyce Cusack. So that's a pretty,
That's in good company.
well, for Joyce Cusack, the at-large incumbent for Volusia County Council and the endorsed candidate of HeadlineSurfer.com. This is Henry Frederick, and this has been the Sunday Conversation. God bless Councilwoman Cusack.
God be with you and yours.
Thank you.